There are no viable candidates for marriage. They either look like they should be on Love and Hip Hop. They already got 5 kids and 10 baby daddies.
What's up, y'all? My name is Nekol.
What's up? It's your boy, A to the L to the A to the N. I'm Alan, and welcome to Howze of Love.
Howze of Love is the relationship podcast where real talk meets real solution.
We both have a heart for healing and making families stronger and better for our future.
This podcast dives deep into love, connection, and everything in between.
Each episode, we plan to tackle the honest conversations about dating, relationships, marriage, and just navigating through life as we look for a suitable partner.
So whether you are single, committed, or somewhere in between, Howze of Love offers wisdom, laughter, and tools to help love last, because in the end,
love wins. All with the mission and spirit to create more healthy relationships, fewer broken families. The first topic we would like to talk and discuss today is the dating pool.
Yes, the dating pool. And this is something that we both have had conversations about, even when we first met. I can talk from a woman's perspective, and I want Alan to talk from the man's perspective, but the perspective of the dating pool today, because so many single ladies are like, the dating pool sucks, there's piss in the dating pool. Like, we all have our own idea, whether you're male, female, whatever your personality type is, of what the dating pool is, because a lot of people, to be fair, especially if you're in your 30s, are struggling to find their significant other. They're struggling to find their person. And so first, we just want to talk about the perspective of the dating pool. So do you want to start from a man's perspective? What are most men, your friends, or the men that you talk to, what is your perspective? What is your vision or view of the dating pool today?
Yeah, let's jump right into it. It's kind of like when we talk piss in the dating pool. One thing about you going to the restroom is you are releasing what you've consumed, right? And she always laughs when I say that, but it's true, right? If you consume water, you tend to be a lot more hydrated. If you consume alcohol or sugary drinks, it seems to be more dehydrated, right? So it's a delicate balance between what you consume, what you take in, what you absorb, and what you release. So we, in my opinion, become victims in some instances.
Men.
Become victims in some instances, or we become a byproduct of our environment.
I mean, I definitely agree with what you take in, what you consume is kind of what you become. I do agree with that. And I think as women, and I've told some of my female friends this, you have to become what you're looking for. If anybody's watched my TikToks and all that stuff, like, I am big on, you have to become what you are looking for, right?
Absolutely.
So I do agree with that. However, your point about there's no viable options for marriage, I know he likes to talk in the general sense. I know in general population, y'all feel like women, they're not viable women. I don't understand that personally. We can get into that a little bit later and in the future episode, but
we can get into it now.
I don't think that that's the case. I think that it starts with being intentional with dating. I think that's one of the biggest things and we can jump into the next topic in a second, but the dating pool may not necessarily suck. Men say it does, women say it does, right? It may not necessarily suck, but I think you have to go into it with the right intentions and have a good understanding of yourself before you go into it. And you say there are no viable options. You say there are no viable options for marriage. But then I think the thought that pops in my head is, are the women that you're seeking or that you're dating, are they even looking for marriage? And I think that goes into our next point that we're going to get into, which is knowing who you are and what you're looking for.
But I think DMX said it better when he say, what these want from her, that's the reality. Because each day in my experience, and my brothers out there, Comment down below if you had this experience. Each day you wake up to somebody new, either each day, each week, each year, and the instability makes it non-attractive. Time to go to the next thing, right?
They think we change so much.
So
they think we can just wake up and change.
So I think one of the things as men that we look for is somebody reflective of us. We know we have to get up, go to work every day, grind, hustle, to work hard to become who we want to be. We also know that out in the world, there's a mirror looking at us if we do something wrong, and there's a level of accountability that we have to own. And then sometimes we have to pay for that mistake. Sometimes we have to, old songwriter Johnny Taylor says it's cheaper to keep her. But reality is, whether it's year 1 or whether it's year 50, the reality is you all can wake up and decide you deserve something better, or you coming into your womanhood. Well, we could have had this conversation 3 years ago.
Okay. Well, again, just to recap the piece about the perception of the dating pool, I think it comes down to knowing, just, I guess, understanding the dating pool, because you have to let go of some of your strong-headed beliefs about the dating pool, about women in general. Because you're automatically saying and going to, there's no viable options for marriage out here. But you're not really breaking it down into, like, what's really the issue with the women that you're dating that's making them not viable for marriage.
Okay.
So you're saying all women, there's no women out here that are viable for marriage.
I will give you a very short recap of the women that are viable for marriage. They already have different options through. Fellas, if you want to know how many options you got, check a Cash App or Apple Pay. I guarantee you'll see why it's now no viable options in the dating pool to take seriously. And then furthermore, women in general, have an unrealistic expectation. For the most part, you all are not our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, as far as playing a role, being supportive, providing insight without being domineering.
But why are we not? What have the men of this generation turned us into? Because a lot of times you say love and hip-hop. I assume you're talking about she got her body done, she got lace fronts and lashes, whatever. But women today feel like they have to compete with those body types, those visual.
They're competing with other women.
Why? Because y'all are the ones who are making us feel, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, making us feel like we're not enough as we are in our natural state, because all the filters and gimmicks and plastic surgery and all these things, y'all make most women feel insecure or less than, or like y'all will overlook us in a club.
I beg to differ.
In a crowd, y'all will overlook the natural, no makeup, normal natural body. Y'all will overlook us, so we're constantly competing. You say this all the time, especially when it comes to black men and women. There's more of us, right? Than right. Y'all. So we constantly have to compete. So that's what you're getting because of how y'all are making us feel.
There's a certain phrase that we use, 90s fine. Women were natural. They like to have fun. They like to turn up. But they also still knew the importance of family. We wasn't looking at T-Boss, Chili, Left Eye, Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim. We wasn't looking at all them and be like, oh, she need a BBL. Oh, she need to get a nose job. We liked them just the way they are. They were edgy. They were still feminine. They handled their business. They were on top of the charts without all that stuff. So when did it change? Because men didn't say, hey, you need a BBL. You all started competing with the IAN network.
I think
y'all started competing with the IAN networks, the Italians, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans.
Why? Because y'all made natural black women feel. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But at the end of the day, there's all of these perceptions between men and women about the dating pool in general. So we kind of wanted to highlight that before we kind of get into setting the foundation for finding your person, because I think a lot of people who watch this podcast, who are searching for tips on love, trying to find their person, just really kind of want advice, insight, to do that. Because at the end of the day, we all want love. We all want our person. We're tired of jumping from person to person. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, whatever. It's fun for a little bit, but as you get older, nobody wants to deal with that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to deal with that. So once you realize that, okay, we know the dating pool, whatever our perspective is right now, we have to be in it if we're looking for our person, right? So we have to enter it. But the next point is knowing who you are and what you're looking for before you enter the dating pool.
And I think that starts with something that we don't talk about enough in every household, not just in the black household, but therapy. We need therapy. You need self-healing, self-preservation, self-determination, self-work. You need to have all the intangibles before you go looking tangibly for a person. The important piece of having done the inner work within ourselves helps exude what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. It helps set boundaries and lays the foundation for somebody entering into your life. If you go through life just, pitter-paddling, hopefully it'll find me or whatever the case may be, how's love going to find you and you don't even go outside? And outside doesn't mean the club or the bars. It could just be going to the grocery store. It could just be, going to a nice lounge. It could be going to a nice restaurant and sitting at the bar. You have to be in a comfortable state of mind first so that you become the better physical aspect of yourself to present yourself to the man or the woman that you are looking for.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. Like, I don't want people to think this podcast is about man-woman wars, because I completely agree with what he just said. I think that both parties, the men and the woman, have to be, have to heal first. Because we all, by the time, especially we get into our 30s or just late 20s, whatever, we have gone through some things. And I feel like you have to, first of all, know what your trauma is and kind of heal from that before you go finding this new fresh person that you want to make your life better, when all you're going to do is bring toxicity into that person's life. It's not going to end well, because I don't care. You could find the best person in the world, beautiful inside and out, vibrant, everything. But if you're not healed yourself, that's not going to end well, because it's just not going to work. You're going to find something that's wrong. You're going to find something to make your life still miserable because you're not healed. So I agree. Mm-hmm. We have to come to the dating pool as a healed version of ourselves. I feel like we're not going to be perfect, but do the work, put in the work before you start seeking your significant other, especially if you're seriously trying to date. If you're looking for a marriage, if you're looking for a serious committed relationship, you can't be out here just thinking that you don't need to put in work too. Okay. So I think that's big for anybody who's looking for a serious relationship. I've had to do it. Like, sometimes you don't even know. Everybody just needs therapy, period, right? Because sometimes you don't know that you are struggling. You don't know that you're coping with things from your past because you're so used to navigating that way, right?
And I think the key piece to understanding that is inner peace, right? So I think when we discover what our inner peace looks like, then we have more of a clear vision for how we move forward. And it's okay to take a step back, but you can't stay out of the dating pool too long. Time is going to pass you by, and that's time that you can't get back.
I agree with that. And he likes to say that, especially with women, we get aged out of the market. We will save that for a future episode. So ladies, especially if you're older and single, we have an episode in the future for you, just all about waiting too long and all those things. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think, again, just knowing who you are and knowing, once you find out who you are, once you really know yourself, because when you're dating, you really can't find someone that can treat you right if you don't know how you need to be treated. So take some time to go to therapy, get to know yourself, do solo dates, ladies. I mean, men too. Do solo dates so that you know how you are out on a date. You can pay attention to yourself. You know what you like and don't like. And then you can start figuring out what you're looking for.
And I think you said an excellent point about solo dates, right? It's good, right? You only spending money on one person. That's just it. So it's good. It's good because it gives you a chance to go out, get out of your normal environment, your house or your job. go out, maybe catch a game, maybe network, meet somebody new, or it may be another single lady or married lady that you may speak to and you're getting tips about what to look for. So those solo dates are important because that's a part of your self-healing journey as well. And I would say me having solo dates helps to clear my mind. And there's times I go places and I don't go with the intent on looking for a hookup, a networking partner, somebody to potentially date. I go genuinely to enjoy myself and have a good time. And most times, being that I'm older, I'm not gonna say my age yet, but being that I'm older, women come up to me, right? But I present myself in a way where it's confidence, it's healed, it's laid back, it's it doesn't have to be contentious. As she stated earlier, it's not man versus woman. It's how do we bond together, because the reality is everybody can have whatever he or she desires in life, but just like anything, you have to be willing to work for it. Nothing comes free. There's no free money. There's no free housing. There's no free cars. Uber ain't free. DoorDash ain't free. You have to be willing to work to enjoy some of the luxuries of life. And I think one of the greatest luxuries that God gifted man was woman.
Yeah, and I think, like you said about solo dating, knowing yourself, a lot of women, I feel like sometimes men too, I don't know what your thoughts are, but we are looking for someone to save us. We're looking for someone to...
Fellas, don't save them.
We're looking for someone to save us. And the reality is you can't go into the dating pool like that. Like, oh, my life is miserable, I need a man to save me. No, you can't. You really can't do that. Like, you have to be a happy, healed version of yourself first, because no man is going to really want that. You're not going to be desirable. Even if you are in the beginning, that misery is going to come out. That, the lack that what you're lacking as an individual is going to eventually come out, and that's going to tear the relationship apart. So
Absolutely.
Just don't go searching for somebody to heal your broken wounds. Like, you need to heal yourself first before you enter the dating pool.
And I think that's a good segue, kind of to one of our points that we want to make in this episode is finding somebody that you are compatible with, right? Whether that be on the education level, whether that be on the boundary level, whether that be on the financial level, whether that be on a spiritual level, whether that be on a healthy level, whether that be, y'all go to the gym every day, whatever it is, figure out what the list of important traits that you're looking for in a partner, and then put a list of things you're willing to work with, because the reality is nobody's perfect. So I think once we start there, then it helps us to easily eliminate people. So it's kind of like the knockout game in basketball, right? If I make 3 shots in a row, the next person to make 3 shots in a row will go tit for tat. But if everybody behind me only make 1 shot, eliminated. We don't give ourselves enough grace, or we don't give ourselves enough boundaries or leeway to say, hey, no, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's, I'm going to stick it out until I get what I want out of it. Then I'm going to bounce. No, Don't do that. Because the reality is, and that's another topic about saving 304s and staying too long and, using people. Those are other topics that we'll get into, because this thing is real. We want this community to be a community that comes together to fix, problem solve, brainstorm on ways that we can improve and how we can move things forward in the dating market, from dating to relationship, from relationship to marriage, from marriage to long-term commitment. And I think that's the important piece, because without families, at some point, the lineage stops.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of the qualities that you mentioned that people should be looking for is important. So ladies, and I know a lot of us do it, I don't personally, but a lot of my friends and people I socialize with do. You have to look beyond looks. You have to look beyond their shoes, their clothes. You have to look beyond those things, because the character in a man, his personality, his a lot of the inner things, the inner qualities is important more than just the exterior. And a lot of times women will pass up a good guy because of some of those superficial materialistic things, or even honestly, and I know financial is sometime a deal breaker with women, or he has to make this amount of money, that amount of money. Don't be so far-fetched when you're dating and you're trying to find somebody you're compatible with. He doesn't have to be a millionaire. Some women like, oh, he has to be a millionaire, but it's not even realistic. So have some realistic expectations when you're trying to figure out who you're compatible with, and look beyond the surface, because sometimes we pass up a good thing by looking into material things. That stuff fizzles out. You know?
A good reference point of that is what we discussed before. Pop the balloon.
Oh, yeah.
Eliminating somebody because of their outfit that you can change, their shoes that you can change, they got on too much jewelry, they too flashy, something that you can discuss. If you kind of move beyond that and really listen to what he or she has to say, or listen to how they grew up, or get to know them for the person that they are, and if it's somebody that you're not compatible with, cool. But superficially to say, oh, I don't like this person because of that or this, that's juvenile.
It is. I agree. So that's what I'm just saying. Make sure that y'all are looking for, if you're looking for something serious, because if you're just looking for a fling, if you're just looking for somebody to buy you a bag, do you, and this is probably not the right podcast for you. But if you're looking for love, if you're looking for your person, if you're tired of playing games out here in the dating pool, definitely look beyond the surface. If think about the fact that, think about 20 years from now, if this is a person that you can see yourself hanging out with, liking, enjoying their company, when we get old and gray, when we start having health issues, all these things. Think about that when you're, trying to decide who you're compatible with.
Yeah, and I think to that point, attraction is attractive, but having somebody that you know is going to stick by your side when things get tough, because they are going to get tough, no matter how you slice and dice it, that should be top tier and paramount as far as who you look for in a compatible mate. Yeah, maybe the looks ain't a 10, or maybe, from the girl's perspective, it's not a Morris Chestnut. From the guy's perspective, it's not a Beyonce. But what are those intangible things that they bring to the market that I can grow, multiply, and we can divide amongst our future generations? Those are the things that are important. You think about it, our great-grandparents, whether it was the granddaddy or whether it was the grandma, both of them may have been lookers. Neither one of them may have been lookers, but they made it work together for the sake of family, right? And if, we all know, great-granddaddy or granddaddy was the looker, Miss Geraldine across the way, she had something to say about that too, because she was trying to steal grandma man. So I think it's important that we understand those base condition foundational principles in order for us to start to determine who we should invite to be a part of our lives. And I think, like you said earlier, boundaries are so important. Deal breakers, knowing what your deal breakers are, right? Whether if it's a person that smoke too much, drink too much, they gamble their money, they don't have a hard work ethic, they don't, they like to sleep in a twin size bed instead of a queen size bed. They like to, keep their car junky. They like to go out every weekend. Whatever those deal breakers are, you need to make sure that you are taking those deal breakers, evaluating them, so that you can start dating people in your mental capacity bracket.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. I think this was a great first episode, a great just segue into some of the things that we'll talk about on this podcast. Stay tuned for more juicy and detailed conversations about dating, love, all the things in between. Thank you so much for watching the Howze of Love podcast today.
And I want to take the time to thank you as well. And whether you are single, dating, in between, we hope that Howze of Love podcast can offer a variety for a variety of people. So definitely, like and subscribe to our community so that you can become a part of us. And we invite those, maybe you are skeptical and, hey, this is really not my thing. We invite you as well. Just tune in, get to know who we are, and we like engagement as well. So if it's topics that you want to talk about, if there are questions that you have, feel free to write them down in the comments, because we want to address. We read every comment. So we try to engage and respond back to, but there'll be some times where we take some of those questions and we'll turn them into a topic. So we definitely look forward to the future. And again, nothing is possible without having God first. So whether you are a believer or not, if you want to have a chance at this life, to create life, to multiply life, then this is the podcast for you, because we offer some laughter, we offer some seriousness, we offer some candid conversations, we offer a little bit of everything in between. So we invite you into this space as well, and we want to take the time to say thank you for tuning in to today's episode, because in the end, love wins. See y'all.
But you should've known it.